Okay, so this is chapter 2, number 12. It says, compare whether each function below is an even and odd function, an even function, an odd function, or neither. Well, first off, what is an even function, an odd function, or neither? Well, the test for that is an even function. Let's see here. If I plug in f of, camera's out of focus. Yep, still out of focus. Come on. See if I can fix that. There we go. Okay. So here, the test is if I plug in f negative x into my original function, right? What is this original function equal? If I plug in f of negative x into f of x and I get f of x again, then it's going to be even because it's the same, right? And then if I plug in f of negative x again and then I get negative f of x, I'm going to get odd. And obviously if I get something like 1/2 x or something like that, some random thing, then I'm just going to get neither. We write down neither because it is neither even or odd. So, all right, let's take a look at these. So A is f of x is equal to x squared. All right, x squared, we know that that is a parabola, so it might be even, right? So let's see what we got here. If I plug in f of negative x, right, and that's going to be equal to negative x squared. Well, if I plug in a negative for x squared, anytime we plug in anything and we square it, we know it's going to cancel out the negatives to give us positive, which means f of x is equal to f of x. Therefore, it is even, using our rule here. So even, we can box our answer right there. Okay, moving on. B, f of x is equal to x cubed. Well, we know that this one is going to look something like this, right, on our graph. We know that this one right here is positive, this one's probably negative, so it's probably going to be odd. So let's think here. Let's take a look. We plug in f of negative x, we get negative x cubed. Well, here's the thing. Negative x squared would give us a positive, but because we have another negative in there, two negatives cancel out, but we still have an extra negative, which means it's going to be negative. Everything that we plug into cubed, no matter if it's, or every negative that we plug into a cubed function, it's always going to come back out negative, which means we're left with negative f of x. So f of x is equal to negative f of x, which means our answer is an odd function. Now, what about a function like this? F of x is equal to 2 to the x, right? Well, 2 to the x, an exponential function, we know it's going to rise like crazy, right? So let's think here. F of negative x, if I plug in negative x to this guy, 2 to the negative x is equal to, right? Well, let's think here. 2, so this right here is basically equal to 2 to the negative 1 and x, because it's, or 2 to the x. And because it's exponents, right, you know that if you have an exponent here times another exponent, this is really just equal to 2 to the 20, because these exponents are going to multiply together, all right? So negative 1 times x gives us negative x. Well, hold on now. This is now going to be equal to 1/2 x. Now, one funny thing about exponents is that if I have a negative exponent, I can turn this into a fraction to get rid of that negative. And because it's negative 1, the 2 is just going to stay the same. So technically, it's really going to equal 1 over 2 to the 1. But we don't write 2 to the 1 because, that's unnecessary. Well, here is equal to this thing right here. If I plug in negative x is equal to 1/2 x to the x. Well, it's not negative, nor is it equal to f of x. So what does that mean? That means it is neither, because it doesn't satisfy the even rule or the odd rule. All right, moving on to the last one here, D. Number D. F of x is equal to sine x. So f and negative x, right? If I want to plug in f and negative x, let's see what I get here. Is equal to, plug in negative x, sine and negative x. Sine negative x is really just equal to negative sine x. Well, what is negative sine x? We know our function is that f of x is equal to sine x, so we make a substitution here. We plug in f of x for sine x. Oh, hang on. We get negative f of x. So f of x is equal to negative f of x. That satisfies the rule for odd. Our answer for this function is odd. Okay, that was number 12 for chapter 2. I hope that you found that useful. Thank you for watching.